to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Oh, it's silly season, y'all. Signing day and the days surrounding signing day. This is a time of year where things get wild and things get very fluid and stuff can change on a dime. And it certainly has in the 24 hours since we last hit these airwaves with our Monday edition of Locked In. It is now Tuesday. We are less than 24 hours away from what you would expect would be every single one of Oklahoma's 2026 signees putting pen to paper with the Sooners, and so much has changed. So much has changed. First and foremost, Mr. Singleton, the Sooners lost 2 recruiting battles today. 2 recruiting battles that were coming down to the wire, but that looked good for the Sooners. 2 guys that could very well have wound up in the Sooners signing class tomorrow will instead ink with other programs. They lost out to Houston, the University of Houston, in the race for 3-star Friendswood, Texas offensive lineman Noah Abibi. This is kind of surprising in no small part because, well, it's Houston, right? Oklahoma typically doesn't lose recruiting battles against Houston.
Of course.
But as I understand it, the Cougars made the requisite concessions to sweeten the pot for Abibi in order to stay home. And look, I talked to Abibi yesterday to recap his official visit to Oklahoma and preview the decision. He was very candid. He was like, look, we're having conversations about the money stuff right now. I'm talking to the Houston staff about it. I'm talking to the OU staff about it. And that's part of the business decision these days. And so it was the Cougars and will be the Cougars for Abibi on signing day tomorrow. Oklahoma will not ink him to their 2026 class. And then this one was way out of left field because 24 hours ago, we were under the full expectation that 3-star Daphne, Alabama edge rusher MALIQUE FRANKLIN was going to be a member of Oklahoma's signing class. Why? Well, because MALIQUE FRANKLIN silent committed to Oklahoma over the weekend. I don't mind saying that. He took the official visit. He silent committed. I don't know if he was going to announce before signing day on Wednesday, but he was supposed to sign with Oklahoma on Wednesday. 24 hours ago, he did not have an offer from the University of Alabama. That changed late last night as he received an offer from the University of Alabama. Earlier this afternoon, he announced that he is committing to the University of Alabama. And what can you do, right? Like, end of the day,
can't win them all, right?
No, and you're a kid that grew up in the state of Alabama during Bama's heyday as a program, where they were winning national championships under Nick Saban with great regularity. You get the offer from the Crimson Tide. Of course, you're going to want to go play in Tuscaloosa at Bryant Denny Stadium. Totally get it. Does it suck for Oklahoma? No doubt, but this happens, right? You're not going to win them all, and you're especially not going to win them all when you try to go into the Crimson Tide's territory to steal one, which Oklahoma was on track to do until Kalen DeBoer and that Bama staff threw a last-second offer to Franklin.
Yeah, and I think the Franklin loss pales in comparison to the Abibi loss.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Yeah, the Abibi loss I think it's not catastrophic, but I think it's more consequential would be the word I'm looking for because, again, I'll go back to our conversation from last week, Parker, when we talked about whether or not we would prefer Abibi or Muya. And the logic I used was that they've had trouble keeping offensive linemen healthy and available. So, and obviously that logic can apply whether it would have been to Jonas Muya, who we think is going to end up at Purdue, or
West Virginia is actually where I'm leaning at this point.
Oh, you changed now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously it doesn't really matter. It's
right.
not Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah, he's not going to be in Oklahoma's class, and neither is Noah Abibi. An offensive line, to me, especially when you look at what the Sooners have gone through this year and last year with offensive line availability, you would have liked to continue to stack bodies at that position. So I think the fact that they didn't come away with Muya and then all of a sudden they didn't come away with a BB, I think that's more of a consequential storyline than them not coming away with MALIQUE FRANKLIN. Yes, you only have 2 defensive tackles in the class that you're expected to sign, Brian Harris and Tank Carrington, but I do believe that the absence of numbers on the O-line is going to be something we're going to have to pay attention to in subsequent years.
Yeah, no doubt, and that probably creates a little bit more of a need in the portal this offseason because Oklahoma wanted to get 4 offensive linemen. They're going to wind up with 2 in Deacon Schmidt and Noah Best, who are both really good players and guys that can and should morph into multi-year starters during their time at Oklahoma. But when you want to sign 4, you'll wind up with 2. You're probably going to be more inclined to make room for another O-lineman or 2 come portal season than you otherwise would have. So, increases the need there in my mind. We'll see what comes of that when the portal actually opens. And there was a texter on the text line at 405-651-3439 that asked, why haven't we seen news of Oklahoma players hitting the portal yet? Well, largely because the portal doesn't open until January. So any announcements that you're seeing thus far are largely from graduate transfers who can enter the portal at any time and are not bound to that window, or they're from guys who are putting it out there ahead of time that they are getting in the portal. Not that they're in the portal yet, but they are getting in the portal.
Yeah, like think of the schools that you've seen guys announcing that they're leaving. Michigan State, Oklahoma State just had a safety that said he's going to be in the portal. And other schools like that who clearly are not playing for anything, including a bowl game. So moving the portal back, and I got to say, Parker, I know you and I haven't talked about the dysfunctionality of the college football calendar a whole lot because it doesn't cross over into the topics of our show. But at some point, they got to move signing day back. Like I am on that. I'm on that train. They got to move signing day back.
The calendar is really wacky.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, and it really doesn't serve anybody well. Right now, you're dealing with a situation where, for instance, and I was going to get into this later, but let's open this can of worms right now. It's a disaster up at Penn State. It is a disaster because they still don't have a head football coach.
You see the AD's Twitter account got hacked the other day?
I think that was just a fake Twitter account. I don't think he uses Twitter.
Okay.
But, yes, I did see that tweet, and it was funny. But Penn State does not have a head football coach right now. It looks as though there's a good chance BYU is able to retain Penn State's top target in Kalani Sitake, and then you essentially have to go back to square one if you're the Nittany Lions and continue the search. And, okay, the search itself has been botched 6 ways to Sunday by Pat Kraft. Like, there's no way around that. That's been poorly managed, no doubt. But Penn State is now in a situation where signing day is tomorrow.
Yeah.
They don't have a head coach. And I kid you not, Grayson, there's probably not going to be a single recruit that signs with Penn State tomorrow. They currently have 5 verbal commits. All 5 of those guys are likely to sign elsewhere.
Why would they sign with Penn State?
Exactly. And so the institutions are in a bind if they're dealing with turmoil right now. And even for a guy like John Sumrall at Florida, who was hired just about as quickly as he could have been hired given the reasonable timeline for things like this. You know, you finish the regular season and then everything becomes official usually the Sunday following the final round of games. For guys like John Sumrall and Alex Golesh, they had 72 hours? Not only to get situated, not only to meet with their team, not only to meet with their new staff, to start building out the remainder of their staff, but also to try and hold the remnants of their 2026 class together at their new institution and try to bring some of their commits from their previous institution along. So the institutions wind up in a bind. The players wind up in a bind because let's go back to the Penn State example. Those verbal commits that want to enroll early in January, they have to make a decision right now.
Yeah.
Between staying on board with the program that they have been committed to in many cases for months, if not years. They have to essentially place blind faith in the Penn State administration. I forgot how to talk for a second. I promise I'm not having a stroke. They either have to place blind faith in that administration to make the right hire, and they have to stake their entire future to it, or they have to sign somewhere else tomorrow. So it's not good for the institutions. It's not good for the players. And it's really not good for the competitive balance of the sport because if we look at, for instance, the Lane Kiffin fiasco, where you have a coach that's getting pressured from every – and I'm not trying to make excuses for Lane Kiffin here by a long shot. But when he's getting pressured from every end to make a decision,
Yeah.
and you're in between a rock and a hard place because you really want – and it was obvious towards the end he wanted to take the LSU job, but he also wanted to coach Ole Miss through the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that.
No.
And that is a natural consequence of the way that the calendar is right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, and I listened to a lot of the shows yesterday, I produced The Rush, I thought a lot of us were going about that thing all wrong. Like, Lane Kiffin, obviously, he's the low-hanging fruit here. Like, bashing Lane Kiffin and trying to talk about, oh, he's damaged his reputation again. However true it might be, that's the low-hanging fruit. The real issue, Lane Kiffin's just a symptom of the problem. The problem, really, is the calendar. That you have signing day that happens before the season ends. That you got players that can enter the portal before the season ends. And the pressure to hire coaches on a timeline that makes absolutely zero functional sense. The Lane Kiffin fiasco does not happen if the calendar is how it should be situated. And it's not. And it's just another example of college football being broken. Because that's what it is right now.
State Line Sooner says on another Penn State note, I thought it was hilarious that Kentucky fires and 24 hours later hits a bomb hire with their coach, and Penn State is just hanging out in la-la land. Yeah, hey, absolute masterclass. Credit to the Kentucky administration because they were ready. Like, they were ready. The second Mark Stoops was out, the second they came to that decision that Mark Stoops was out, they were on it, man. They went and met with Brian Hartline. They went and met with Will Stein. Within 24 hours, they had Stein hired as their next head coach.
And here's my question. Who has Penn State met with? Like, has Penn State just met with everybody and everybody's told them no? Because that's hard to believe, given that it's Penn State.
And Chris in Tulsa brings up the reality, or I shouldn't say the reality, the rumor that Jimmy Sexton has impacted the Penn State coaching search. Which that's why, you know, if you're an administration, if you're a program, you don't get on the bad side of the most powerful man in college football because that is Jimmy Sexton right now. Greg Sankey and Jimmy Sexton. Those are the two men that hold all of the cards in college football. Hey, the show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Folks, if in this holiday season you're shopping around for a new vehicle, either for yourself, for a family member, or loved one, go give Dorsey Jones a look. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and Dorsey Jones offers outstanding service at their family-owned and operated establishment, including their iconic half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Shout out to Dorsey Jones. And again, if you want to chime in on the text line, 405-651-3439. Michael in Marlowe says, so the DeBoer rumor wasn't true. Listen, like I said, it's silly season right now, and that's not exclusive to the recruiting realm. I will tell you, there is some real behind-the-scenes buzz that there is going to be a vacancy in the next few days at a top 25 school right now.
And going back to the DeBoer point, would it not be the same situation that Lane Kiffin was just in?
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer can't leave right now.
And we thought neither could Lane Kiffin.
And maybe Kalen DeBoer can leave in a week if Alabama loses the SEC championship game and winds up out of the college football playoff. But if you're Penn State, I guess after signing day, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can wait as long as you need to at that point because nothing's changing.
Yeah, I guess.
But, I mean, maybe that becomes the plan of attack if Sataki does indeed elect to stay at BYU is, hey, we're just going to make Kalen DeBoer an offer he can't refuse once Alabama's done in the SEC championship game. But then, of course, you have to deal with the prospect of what if Alabama wins? Because then you can't hire him, period. I doubt Kalen DeBoer is pulling a Lane Kiffin and walking away from a team that has secured a college football playoff.
Either way you slice it, whether it's the hypothetical of Kalen DeBoer or whether what happened with Lane Kiffin, these problems should not be happening. And that's why I say I know it's all fun and games to dunk on Lane Kiffin, but the situation that we were in should not be happening in a functioning institution. It's honestly comical that we're still doing this in 2025. On the YouTube chat, if you want to spin back to recruiting, Parker.
Let's do it.
I lost who the commenter was, so you'll have to forgive me. But somebody asked, are we going to circle back to Taj Overton in the absence of now Malik Franklin? You only got 2 defensive tackles in the class.
Yeah, hashtag not happening.
There you go.
Absolutely not happening. Taj Overton is not going to sign with Oklahoma. There's no path for Taj Overton to sign with Oklahoma. However, there is the very real possibility.
Let's get into this.
There is the very real possibility that there's a surprise or two on signing day tomorrow for Oklahoma. Let's dig into that on the other side. We'll hit a quick break, hear from our fine sponsors that make it all possible here on the Ref, and on the other side, yes, there are a couple of situations, one in particular that still hangs in the balance that's going to be very, very interesting to track throughout the evening and on into the morning of Wednesday, early signing day. Keep it here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. You're listening to Locked In.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
Are you, your family, or company looking for a locally owned and trusted management group? Carlsbad Management Group is an owner, developer, and manager of high-quality apartment communities in Oklahoma. They are a locally owned and operated management company for apartments and self-storage units. They are committed to providing exceptional apartment homes, customer service, and increasing the value of multi-family communities under our management. If you would like a free management quote today, call Carlsbad Management at 405-701-1411 and be part of the Carlsbad family.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it making more money. Spend it making more memories. Spend it learning a new skill. Spend it teaching an old trick. Spend it career climbing. Spend it mountain climbing. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
The football field isn't the only place that takes creativity to reach your potential. Wonder House Design will take your interior game to the next level. Custom upholstery and window coverings with draperies, Romans, blinds, shutters, and shades. Reimagine your game day setup. Performance fabrics with style to withstand whatever your next season holds. Wonder House knows how to score outside, too, with patio-friendly styles and automated screens. Stop by their showroom in Robinson Crossing at 1228 North Interstate Drive or call 405-831-5908.
Hey, this is Tyler McComas with The Rush, and I just want to tell you about an indoor golf experience that I've never seen before, and frankly, I didn't know existed. I recently spent about 2 hours playing at Land Run Links in Oklahoma City, and I really wanted to stay there all day long. It's a golf simulator, but better. It has 300 courses to offer, and one of the many great things about Land Run Links is it's for all skill levels. Check them out today, landrunlinks.com. That's landrunlinks.com.
90 days, no payment during Happy Honda Days at Eskridge Honda. Drive home in a new 2026 Honda CR-V Sport front-wheel drive for just $329 a month. That's right, only $329 a month. Or take advantage of 2.99% for up to 36 months. 90 days, no payment during Happy Honda Days at 89th and I-35 or online at eskridgehonda.com.
Stock number 0209, 10,000 mile, 36-month lease, $49.99 down plus TT&L, WAC through HFS. See dealer for details.
Hi, Josh Helmer here for my friends at Auto Image USA in Norman, where they have everything you need to upgrade your ride. At Auto Image USA, they have so many services for you like paint correction, window tint, paint protection film, or maybe you want that boat, RV, or car looking brand new in the interior again with the top-of-the-line detailing. Plus, you can get their Enviro Shield paint and interior fabric protection backed by their 3 or 5 year warranty. Call them today, 405-321-4444. They are the best. Check them out.
We are on the doorstep of closing the door on another recruiting cycle. Tomorrow is early signing day, or I should say the beginning of the early signing period, when most of the 2026 high school football recruits across the country with offers to play FBS football are going to sign their national letters of intent to do just that. And so for all intents and purposes, the recruiting cycle ends in December every single year. There may be some carryover into January and February. There's a small minority of prospects that choose not to sign in December and wait till the February signing day. And Oklahoma in the past has grabbed a guy here, a guy there. Taylor Heim comes to mind in the 2023 cycle, a guy that was still on the board in late January. Oklahoma went and grabbed him from Bethany, Oklahoma, and added him late to the signing class. But throughout this recruiting cycle, Grayson, there have been 2 recruitments, and I believe only 2 recruitments, where at a certain point, I have just thrown my hands up and said, I'm over it. I'm done with this. Do you remember the 2 recruitments in question?
Was Davian Gross? No, KJ Ford was one of them.
KJ Ford was one of them.
And was Davian Gross the other?
Davian Gross was the other.
Yep.
Coincidentally, both of those guys wound up committing to the University of
Florida.
Now, it looks as though KJ Ford is going to sign with Texas A&M tomorrow. That is the current buzz.
Oh.
And there is a non-zero chance. In fact, as it stands right now, there appears to be a pretty decent chance that Davian Gross signs with the University of Oklahoma tomorrow.
I'm sorry, what now?
Yes. And if this happens, it's easily the most bizarre serpentine path to a signature that I have covered and or witnessed on the Oklahoma side since Peyton Bowen. Because here's how this has gone down. Oklahoma has been recruiting Gross hard, or I should say had been recruiting Gross hard for almost a year by the time that he made his commitment decision in late July. The Sooners were regarded as the leader throughout the spring, throughout the early summer. After official visits, it became clear Oklahoma's in the best spot here. And then we entered a long holding pattern in the month of July, as you'll recall. And we were all just kind of sitting on our hands wondering, when on earth are we going to get a decision from Davian Gross, the 4-star wide receiver out of Frisco Lone Star High School down in Texas? Then decision day rolls around. And Oklahoma is considered to be the favorite to land his pledge. Then, mere hours before his decision, the buzz starts to percolate that, hey, Florida's making a run. It might be Florida tonight. The Gators might get Gross's verbal. And without going into all the nitty-gritty, gory details of what all happened behind the scenes communication-wise between Gross and Oklahoma, the essence of it is and was Gross did commit to Florida. OU felt very, very jilted. And there was a certain point at which it did not appear a reconciliation was on the table between the two parties. Gross reiterated on the record on several occasions that he was 100% locked in at Florida as recently as a couple of weeks ago. However, throughout the 2025 season, as we know, things hit rock bottom down in Gainesville. Billy Napier was fired. An upset win over Texas was really the only highlight of a miserable 4-8 campaign for the University of Florida. And of course, when that happens, the sharks begin to circle around all of the commits that are pledged to a school like that. And Oklahoma initially was not one of the schools that started to circle the waters for Davian Gross. And as recently as October, maybe November, I was told flat out pretty authoritatively, yeah, Davian Gross is not going to sign with Oklahoma. That's not a possibility that's on the table. However, over the last few weeks, very quietly, the Sooner staff has been re-engaging with Gross. They're not the only school that has been re-engaging with Gross and been rebuilding those bridges, as it were, restoring those relationships to the places that they once were prior to Gross's controversial decision to commit to Florida. And as it stands right now, there is a lot of conflicting information going on behind the scenes. A lot that I have heard and been told this morning and early this afternoon about what could go down tomorrow for Gross. Florida's still swinging. They're still fighting to keep him on board. That staff is sent in the house to try and keep the national top 100 playmaker in the fold. But if he doesn't sign with Florida tomorrow, and I have been told that that looks increasingly likely, it might actually be Oklahoma.
Who else is involved here?
Texas Tech is the other school that's been making overtures to Gross, and that he has publicly acknowledged they're coming hard for him. So when dealing with a kid like this, you know, it reminds me of the last 36 hours of the Peyton Bowen saga. At a certain point, you're just like, man, I don't know. This kid always seems to have something up his sleeve, or as I have been told, he really has a hard time saying no to people. And so when that's the case, I don't want to get people's hopes up too high. I don't want to make any promises. I don't feel like I can make any promises here. But I will say this. If Davian Gross is announced as one of Oklahoma's signees tomorrow, it's not going to be a total shock.
So on that note, let's swing this forward for a second. What do you do with all these wide receivers? That's my question.
Figure it out, man.
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Oh, yeah.
But, again, I ask the question, what do you do with all of them? Because you're going to have some college-ready dudes. You're going to have the Manny Choices and the Elijah Thomases of the world who are going to want to have their opportunity to make an impact next year. Satania could still come back next year. You're probably keeping Carrion. Now, I know there's going to be some processing done. We don't know which ones those are. We have a good idea.
Yep.
But even still, with the ones that we assume are going to happen, you might take another receiver in the portal, maybe two. We're still encroaching upon 14, 15 wide receivers on this team next year. And all of them really good, by the way. So how do you keep everybody happy in this sense?
That's a great question. I won't pretend to have an answer. I'm glad it's not my job. And Emmett Jones, tip of the cap to you, my friend, because he's the one that has to manage that whole deal. And the Oklahoma front office, Jim Nagy, obviously he has to be mindful of the salary cap and the NIL and all that stuff.
Right.
They get paid a lot of money to solve those problems. I get paid some money to talk about them. So Glad I don't have to be responsible for that. But what a splash that would be.
Oh, it'd be great.
At the 11th hour, if Oklahoma can bring this thing full circle with Davian Gross. Like, again, to rewind here and basically give you the TLDR version. Here's how it's unfolded month by month throughout calendar year 2026. January, OU's a contender. February, OU's a serious contender. March, yep, still a serious contender. April, man, OU might be the front runner. May, OU is the front runner. June, Davian Gross is going to Oklahoma. July, Davian Gross just committed to Florida.
What the hell?
August, forget it. September, forget it. October, forget it. Nothing to see here. We're done. November, never say never. And here we are on December 2nd. And there's some legs to this thing. We'll see, man. We'll see. But this would easily be the most consequential signing day flip that Oklahoma's landed since Bowen.
Yes.
And, as I said, probably the wildest cover-to-cover recruitment that Oklahoma has wound up on the winning end of since Bowen.
You know, and it's interesting that you bring up the managing the money thing because these aren't run-of-the-mill wide receivers either. Like, Davian Gross is a solidified 4-star. Jaden Petit, 4-star. Not Davian Gross. Daniel Odom, solidified blue chip dude. Like, they're bringing in blue chipper after blue chipper after blue chipper. And there are other holes on this team. So when you're talking about the money side of things and the dollars that, and you and I have talked about when it comes to negotiating with wide receivers, right? And the price points for wide receivers, they don't come cheap, especially really, really good ones. So it'll be interesting to see, and I'm not going to make any assertions on how the front office is handling this because I have no idea, but it'll be interesting to see with this influx of blue chip talent at wide receiver, not scrub dudes, not run-of-the-mill guys, blue chip talent at wide receiver, how this is going to affect the calculus of the money when it comes to, rebuilding the interior of the offensive line, trying to make up for the departures at linebacker. These are things that I'm going to have questions about as we continue to go forward.
You know what's crazy? If you circle back to the end of July, especially right after the Gross decision when he committed to Florida, what was everybody saying about Emmett Jones in Oklahoma? Look at this wide receiver class, man. Daniel Odom's it. This is the only guy they're going to get. They swung and missed on Jaden Petit. They swung and missed on Davian Gross. This is a bust and a half.
We're a long ways out from that, aren't we?
Winning cures everything.
I will say this about Emmett Jones, and I know the fan base is kind of split on him. I will say this. Is this his last swing to develop a class of wide receivers?
What do you mean?
So, you and I have religiously defended this guy, Emmett Jones, because we don't think he's had enough time yet. You know, his first recruiting class was the 23 class.
Mm-hmm. No, 24.
24.
Yeah.
24. And there was just never enough time to see if all those guys were going to pan out. This is the 2026 recruiting class, and I just mentioned to you all the blue chip talent, a couple of college ready-made wide receivers, guys that are also going to command a lot of dollars. If he doesn't get it solidly done with this class, right? And again, we won't have the opportunity to revisit this until 2027, 2028, obviously. But if he doesn't get it done with this class, I think the noise starts to become more and more valid about whether or not Emmett Jones is the right wide receivers coach. I think he is. Mm-hmm. I am still a fan of his, but the fans have been clamoring about him for a while. I think this class is going to tell us a lot about Emmett Jones as a coach.
Here's what so many overlook and or forget is the reality that if you're in Emmett Jones's shoes, you're developing these wideouts within the context of the system. And the system has changed. Right? When Emmett Jones got to town, Jeff Lebby was the OC, and then it was Seth Luttrell, and now it's Ben Arbuckle. So he's had to develop wideouts within the context of 3 different offensive systems. And why I bring that up is because let's take the example of a guy like Zion Reagans. Zion Reagans is a Jeff Lebby type of wide receiver. Zion Reagans is exactly the type of wideout that Jeff Lebby wants and is ideally suited for the type of offense that he runs, as evidenced by the fact that another guy that's cut from that same cloth, Brennan Thompson, is knocking on the door of 1,000 yards down there in Starkville for the 2025 season. Tied with Satania for second in the SEC in receiving. Zion Reagans is not a Ben Arbuckle type of receiver.
That's fair.
And so when we look at that first group of guys he brought in that 2024 cycle, I think we have to reserve judgment to a certain extent because those guys were brought in to play in Jeff Lebby's scheme. And now Ben Arbuckle is the offensive coordinator.
Sure.
And he has a very different plan of attack as to what he wants to do and how he wants to get there via different personnel groupings. And there's a reason why Zion Reagans, even after seeing the field as much as he saw it last year as a true freshman for Oklahoma, has been a ghost this year for Oklahoma. It's because he's not the type of guy that fits in Arbuckle's offense. And that is what it is. That doesn't mean he's not a good player, but that's part of the reason why I'm not going to rush to judgment when we start to evaluate Jones's work with this 2024 class, regardless of how each of those guys' individual careers wind up.
Yeah, and you and I are on the same boat at that with the 2024 class. But I'm saying by the time we get to the 2026 class and we have enough timeline behind them to have a true referendum, I think that would have given – all I'm saying is that would have given us the ample amount of time to accurately assess Emmett Jones as a coach. Now, there is the other thing that is they've pulled guys out of the transfer portal and have done some good things with them. Case in point, Isaiah Satania, right? So yes. I do think that with guys who have come in, he's done a good job with them. Giovanni Gibson's looking the best he's ever looked. I thought he played a decent game against LSU.
He did play a decent game.
Jermichael Carter, we're starting to think positively about. So I think when it comes to the portal, he's done a decent job, and Papa Boganowski pointed this out on the text line just a moment ago. But you got to be able to get kids from the high school ranks, and I know there's been a lot of change. I used the change logic with DeMarco Murray a couple of weeks ago. I understand that. But at some point, at least a couple of them, especially with the talent that you're bringing in 2026, those dudes have at least one or two of them have got to turn into stars.
Final text of the segment via Tyler from Kellyville. Davian Gross basically texted OU and said, "You up?" And I will say that is not at all an inaccurate characterization of what has gone down here. And we said it at the time. It was the type of deal where based on how things went down with the original decision, if ever there were to be a reevaluation, if you will, and a rekindling of the relationship, it would have to be initiated from Davian Gross's side. And in this case, it was. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. There might be one firework left in the chamber for Oklahoma. 405-651-3439 is the text line. One final segment of Locked In. Coming up next here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
This is your home for Sooner fans. The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Mike Steele here for Lasher Home Comfort Systems, your trusted home comfort experts in the Oklahoma City metro area. Tim Lasher and his team have more than 130 years of combined experience. They recognize a significant number of homeowners live with inadequate home comfort systems. They specialize in diagnosing your home system issues while providing more efficiency and reducing your utility costs. As an authorized dealer of American Standard, Tim can service your residence or business. Call Tim and his team at 405-579-3113. Lasher Home Comfort Systems.
Hey, it's Mike Steele, one of America's favorite regional radio stars. Not really. Reminding you to go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and download the KREF app. You'll have access to the Ref forever at the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. You can listen to myself and Parker Thune from noon to 2 and all the other great shows right here on the Ref Radio Network, the home of Sooner fans. Go get the app. It's awesome.
Hi, everybody. Toby Rowland here for one of my favorite places to golf, the Trails Golf Club in Norman. The Trails offers great golf activities for the entire family, men's and ladies golf association events, summer junior golf for the kids, plus club fittings throughout the year. The Trails also has great family social events, monthly special dinners, plus holiday brunches and catering. When you're looking for the perfect place to golf, check out the Trails Golf Club in Norman. Contact Zane Alexander today at 405-364-3790 or visit trailsgolf.com.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early, bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
Some things in life are preventable.
Ooh, gas station sushi.
That's preventable.
I'm just going to tell my boss what I really think of him.
That too. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance wants you to know a lot of things in life are preventable. Colon cancer is common and deadly, but that's also preventable.
Oh my gosh, it's a bear! Let's get a selfie with it.
Preventable! The Alliance is doing its part to end colorectal cancer. Now, do yours. If you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor about the screening options available. Go to colorectalcancer.org to learn more.
Getting together with friends and family is one of life's greatest joys. But with the rise in misleading rumors that have sparked some confusion and worry about vaccines, our treasured community immunity could be at risk. It's true. Together, we are all healthier when everyone is vaccinated. So let's get together and let's thrive together. Talk with your pediatrician today about keeping up or catching up on routine childhood immunization. This message is brought to you by the American Academy of Pediatrics.
405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to get in touch with us, make your voice heard throughout the show. It is Tuesday. That means Tuesday trivia. Let's kick off our final segment with that. Grayson, as always, I will give you the choice. Ask or answer the question first.
I'll ask first this one.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
All right, here we go. So, in the current projected field for the college football playoff, there are four teams. There are four teams that have negative turnover differentials. And this has been a theme of mine covering OU this entire season.
Okay.
Oklahoma is still one of those teams with a -2 turnover differential. There are three others in the projected field with negative turnover margins. Who are they?
I have no idea. I'm going to...
Come on now. There's not that many teams to choose from.
I know. Process of elimination here. I'm going to say it's probably not Ohio State, Indiana, or Alabama.
Indiana's turnover margin is +17.
Yeah, they've been really good in that department.
Uh-huh.
How about, is Ole Miss one of them?
Ole Miss is one of them.
Okay,
also
one for one.
Also -2.
Projected college football playoff field. Is Notre Dame one of them?
No, Notre Dame is +13.
Okay. There are only so many options here. How about James Madison?
Nope.
I don't know why.
James Madison is even.
Okay. one more strike, and I'm going to call it quits. Is...
I'll give you a hint before you answer. I'll give you a hint. One of them made the college football playoff last year with a negative turnover differential.
Oregon?
No.
Okay. I'm going to phone a friend. What do you got?
Georgia. Georgia is the answer to the hint.
Georgia, okay.
So you got Ole Miss. You're going to be really surprised at the last one.
Okay.
Texas A&M, -7.
Have they been that bad? Wow. Yeah, I would not have guessed Texas A&M. Well, okay. 1 for 3. I guess we're going to call that a loss. 2 for 3, I would have counted it as a win, but if you're below 50%, yeah.
I agree.
It's another L for me on Trivia Tuesday. Okay, how about this one?
All right, go for it.
You know the answer to this one if you read my write-up on Christian Moore yesterday, the new Oklahoma commit. So hopefully you didn't. But
I may not have gotten around to
okay, good. I would generally encourage you to read my work, but in this case, I'm glad that you didn't.
You'd be surprised the percentage that I actually do read. It's like at 98%.
Oh, really? Okay. I was about to say, would I be surprised by how much or how little? The last time Oklahoma signed a recruit from the state of Alabama was...
Oh, goodness.
Christian Moore's about to end the drought. This is why I bring this up.
Yeah.
Which cycle was it? And bonus points if you can name the recruit.
Which cycle was it? So this is 2026, 2023?
No.
Okay.
Not even close, actually.
Oh, gosh. 2011.
That's closer. The answer, 2014. The recruit in question, Dwayne Orso Backus out of Homewood, Alabama.
Who?
Exactly. Never did much at Oklahoma, but hey, that's recruiting.
Yeah, no.
The inconvenient truth is that the majority of guys who sign with Oklahoma in any given class are probably not going to be household names in years to come for what they contribute at OU.
A texter in the 405 says, Grayson is a sower of discontent. Don't trust him.
You should make that your new Twitter bio.
The sower of discontent.
Sower of discontent.
Shoot, and I mean, it might actually do numbers. Hey, man, I've been the one, or one of the ones, defending Emmett Jones.
Hey, by the way, we have some folks asking about Bo Bentley, and he was in a sling at Oklahoma's game on Saturday, suffered an injury Friday night, or what was that? I think it was Friday night in Salina's playoff matchup down there in Texas. And I have been told that he is dealing with a sprained AC joint in his throwing shoulder. It's not a long-term injury. He's actually hoping to play this Friday. I don't know how realistic that is, but I know he's hoping to play this Friday. So, yeah, he's a little bit dinged up, but nothing too severe, nothing that's going to keep him out in the long term. A couple of news items from across college football. Did you see that one of the guys that announced today he's entering the transfer portal is Marcus Stokes? Do you remember Marcus Stokes?
Jog my memory on this one.
So Marcus Stokes was a class of 2024 quarterback who was committed to the University of Florida. He wound up signing and playing his college football at the University of West Florida. Do you know or recall how this happened?
No.
While he was committed to the University of Florida, there was a Snapchat video that circulated in which he said a word that you were allowed to say, but I am not.
Okay, cool.
He got dropped by UF.
Oh no, is this dude this dude's white, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So Florida didn't want another Riley Cooper on their hands?
Florida did not want another Riley Cooper on their hands. No other P4 school, no other FBS school would take him. He wound up playing D2 football at West Florida.
I mean, why would you?
Yes, and you know what? To his credit, he has kept it on the straight and narrow ever since, had a really good season this past year at West Florida. And so now I guess he figures he can make his way back up to the FBS ranks, given that the statute of limitations, at least he would hope, has passed on the public prosecution for that offense.
I'm willing to give him another shot, man.
It's gonna get brought up wherever he transfers.
I know,
like there's gonna be a lot of hoopla.
That video's never gonna die, and I do remember seeing that video. It's been a year, man. I'm gonna assume you can go without publicly videoing yourself saying the N-word. I don't know. But for that, look, man, give him another chance to play ball. If he does it again, obviously, we're back to square one. But give him another shot.
How about this? Ohio University announced the other day, out of nowhere, that their head coach is taking a leave of absence, and they have an interim head coach. I believe it's one of the coordinators. They were just like, here, we just appointed an interim head coach. Head coach is going to be taking a leave of absence. No idea. Like, no one has any idea what's going on up at Ohio with their sitting head coach, because apparently the AD walked into a coaches meeting, dismissed everybody but the head coach, and then later everybody found out, yeah, we have an interim now. So I don't know what kind of conspiracy theories you want to draw up there. Maybe he murdered him. I don't know. But for whatever the reason may be,
oh man,
whatever the reason may be, Ohio University's head football coach Brian Smith is on an administrative leave of absence right now, and no one has any idea where he is or what the situation is.
The adults in the room when it comes to college football are the most strangely acting people, whether it's committees or presidents of the NCAA or AD. The adults in the room are just comical, man. Papa Boganowski says, was it a hard R?
Was it? I don't remember.
I'd have to go back and find that video again.
Yeah. By the way, this, on a very, very different note, I saw this news today courtesy of Pete Thamel from ESPN. Thought this was wild. Willie Korn, Liberty's offensive coordinator, who was a name that was getting mentioned a few years back when Oklahoma very briefly had an OC opening after Jeff Lebby's departure. Of course, that job ultimately went to Seth Luttrell. But at the time, Willie Korn, especially with his connections to Brent Venables and Clemson, was a name that very briefly was getting mentioned as a candidate for OU's offensive coordinator vacancy. I guess he informed the program today that he is leaving college football entirely.
Yeah, I saw this.
He's not going to coach anymore. He's going to go into, and I quote, private business, which kind of goes back to the original topic that we were discussing at the top of the show, which is that everything about college football is so unsustainable right now that there are increasingly a lot of stories along these lines. I think Willie Korn is probably the highest profile guy to just call it quits and say, I'm done at the age of, he's in his mid-30s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But for instance, I know UTEP's offensive coordinator, ex-offensive coordinator, Jake Brown, another guy who was in his mid-30s, just decided last year after the 2024 season, I'm done coaching. I'm going to go into business. So because of how much is asked of college football coaches this year and how in this age and how much they have to manage, there are a lot of college football coaches that are looking elsewhere for employment opportunities.
I mean, the whole system it's bad because nobody wants to take leadership. And I was talking to Josh Helmer about this after he got done with he and Dari's show. And there is a model for how to do this. It's called the National Football League. I know it's going to take a lot of seismic change. You'll need collective bargaining and all of this. But we have got to continue to venture towards that. Otherwise, this is just going to continue to be chaotic.
The chaos is glorious, at least from an outsider's perspective. As I have said many times, I do not envy the college football coaches that have to deal with all of the chaos internally. What are you laughing at?
Two-star Puerto Rican Sooner says, private business, a.k.a. he saw the story of the Olympian drug lord and said, hold my beer, I can do better.
Maybe so. Maybe Willie Korn is the next Walter White or something. Evan from Blanchard said Joe John needs to go into private business. Come on, Evan.
Come on.
Oklahoma's going to the college football playoff. Let's just be happy.
He's about to sign two really good tight ends.
He is about to sign two really good tight ends, folks. And signing day is so close. We are scarce more than 12 hours away from the first signatures starting to roll in. It's going to be a banner day tomorrow on these airwaves. It'll be our best show of the year, my favorite show of the year. We will break down Oklahoma's 2026 signing class from every imaginable angle. And who knows, by this time tomorrow, we may be talking about a surprise addition or two to the Hall for Jim Nagy and Brent Venables and the Sooners. But until then, we bid you adieu. The Rush is coming up next. Tyler McComas and Teddy Lehman are going to take over 3 more hours of OU Sports Talk are ahead. And, of course, you are more than welcome to make your voice heard on the text line, 405-651-3439. Signing day is upon us. We're excited to bring you another installment of Locked In tomorrow once all of the dust settles. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, folks. Same time, same place. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.